The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
Right, joining us now to talk TV of the week, TV on the radio, if you will, it is Hamish Coleman-Ross. Hamish CR on Twitter, twitter.com/Hamish CR. G'day there, Hamish.
Good morning, Wammo. How are you, mate?
Very well, my friends. It's been another week in TV. What's been happening?
Well, we saw the big, giant launch of New Zealand's Next Top Model Season 2 on Saturday.
Now, they actually started hunting for models.
They have, and they had the first lot of auditions out at the ASB Showgrounds there in Ellerslie. I went out and had a look, and it was striking that there was sort of only roughly about 100 girls there trying to get there in the morning. But they did have auditions till 3 o'clock, so by all means there could have been more people. But I was a wee bit underwhelmed at how few turned up. But I have been told this morning by friend Coleman-Ross, Jeffrey, who's one of the judges on it. He said that there was a lot of interest from the rest of the country, and they were inundated. So maybe Auckland girls on that particular day sort of had done their bit, or maybe all the good-looking girls in Auckland are already models.
Or were they all spent on the first season?
Well, I don't know. It's two lines of thought here. Yeah, sometimes people that might think that they're good at these things don't. In auditions first up round, they want to kind of hang off until the second season, kind of just get the lay of the land, and so that's a perfectly valid potential point. But I think the great thing about the show, although I've never watched an episode of it in my life, the thing I do like about it is something that we touched on last week, but I love there being a big internal production, and this is a big internal TV3 production. They're throwing a lot of money at it. They've been prepping for it since September last year. Whatever, even though it's an international format, it is a local production. Fantastic that they're doing it.
Yeah, and personally I find it quite compelling just because it's train wreck TV.
It is.
On a local level.
And, the incredible number of young girls doing it. Like, I was standing near the enrolment desk, and, the girl who won last year, is it last year?
Yeah.
Christabel.
What's she
was
done?
only 16.
Yeah.
When she entered the competition, and so I was standing by the desk, and a lot of the girls who were entering were all just, handing over school ID to prove their age, and I thought, well, that's interesting, isn't it?
What's she done though? The winner from last year.
She has she's gone overseas to do some stuff, I believe. She's done some TV presenting. I think it's worked out quite well for her.
Okay, because it seemed as though the one who came second or third, I can't remember her name, but she was doing stuff for C4.
She is, yeah, and she's nice girl. I've seen her around on the traps. She's doing stuff for C4 as well. Now, it seems last week we were talking about nothing but TVNZ, and this week it seems I'm talking about nothing but TV Works, because C4 has unleashed this new beast called the Jono Project, which is your colleague, Jono Pryor, with his TV show.
Yeah, good mates, yeah. Nice guy.
I bet you guys are. He is a nice guy.
Yeah, he is a nice guy. He's one of the nicest guys in the business. It's got to be said. This is a follow-up to his the Jono's New Show, isn't it, or whatever it used to be called.
Yeah, did 2 or 3 seasons, and they were still calling it Jono's New Show. So I guess it was time to take it a run. But it seems to me that they are doing the Australian show on ABC, which name now escapes me. Do you remember the guys who dressed up as Osama bin Laden?
Sorry, who was that, Sam?
Hey, I'm just in the background mouthing things. I believe that was the Chasers.
The Chasers.
Okay. I've been racking my brains for the last 2 days trying to think who the hell that was. Yeah, it's kind of starting to strike me that the Jono Project to me is looking a lot like the Chasers.
Okay.
And in so much that they have been setting up royally New Zealand media. Now, they did this, first of all, with a slightly, inoffensive piece about an egg that had 8 yolks, and this caught out several news services, including Breakfast TV, which was all good and fine, and, I guess, it's an innocent mistake to have made in so much as people are, reporters are hunting for stories, 8 eggs, and, it didn't seem too out there, and so it ran as a story, and it turned out that Jono had faked it himself. But they had an absolute perler of a one on Monday morning where they had a pro whaling spokesman go on TV and be interviewed by Paul Henry.
Now, was it a perler, though? Because, the guy was very straight. He came on as being a libertarian. There was nothing funny about what happened. I'll be interested to see how they spin the footage and turn it into something funny.
Well,
but it wasn't.
I think the fact that they got him past is where the Pearl statement lies.
But
now,
is it that hard to do to New Zealand media? I mean, you've got a reasonably, sort of accurate story background to yourself. Is it that hard to pull the wool over their eyes?
I was talking to an award-winning producer about this Wednesday night at TVNZ, and he said when he first heard about it, he was incredibly upset because he thought, oh God, it's some junior news producer, who's been fooled by these guys, and is now going to be on the chopping block for again, being set up, which is not ever really all that nice. But as it turns out, it was a senior news producer who interviewed the person off air for 40 minutes before, agreeing to let them go on the show. So it'd say to me that the people at the Jono Project who are doing this, because remember, it's not actually Jono himself who's going on and doing this. He is the front man for a larger team on that show.
Yeah.
But it would seem that they're pretty well set up, and I think the good thing about it is New Zealand news media is going to have to be a little bit more on its toes about researching stories when we run them. But
at the same time, it seems like we've got a short memory on this. We're forgetting, there was Eating Media Lunch, which did kind of this kind of stuff, but in a funnier context, and maybe a slightly smarter context.
Oh, I would say so, but I think, I wouldn't have compared, say, Eating Media Lunch with the Chasers so much, because Eating Media Lunch did sort of Jeremy Wells, whereas the Chasers and Jono Project, what they have in common is that they're both sort of teams of people, if you like.
Right. Okay. Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Jono Project. But I just wonder. Television industry in New Zealand is incredibly small. I've said it before. It's a cottage industry. Some of those people might find it hard to get finished with the Jono Project and they start going and looking. What were you working on? Oh, you're the guy that set me up. Yeah, no, thank you.
Well, yeah, no, you could be right, but I think there's a lot of respect, for good work. And if they end up doing good work and the show ends up being really good, then, it could work out well for them.
We'll see how the rest of the show pans out. To be honest, I didn't find it as the whole show as overtly laugh out loud as I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But hey, it's comedy. It's early days. It does take some time to get your legs. But I think we could see some really interesting things happen with that show. I mean, when you make front page of the Herald on Tuesday and you've only done one episode, you're doing all right, I think.
Exactly. Now, big hurrah of the week on TV would have to go to the Otahu chap, wouldn't you say?
Oh, this guy. Now, this was the Armed Defenders Squad call-out that sort of, as a story, sort of petered out a bit, I guess. But the TV2 reporter went out there and found a local who had an absolute perler of... I'm loving this term this morning. Perler is my word of the day. Had an absolute great quote there. Have you got it?
I have got it. I'll play it now.
I was just sitting at home having some thoughts, and then the police come up, knocked on my door, told me that I have to evacuate just because they reckon it's a bomb threat around the place. And I just tripped out and I was like, oh shit, must be just happening overseas or something. So yeah, I just packed up my stuff and left. But it looks pretty serious. There's heaps of cops here and there. Reckon they're bringing the bomb squad in. But yeah, no, pretty trippy stuff, eh?
Pretty trippy stuff there, Hamish Coleman-Ross.
Oh, look, that's brilliant because this is the great underrepresented TV watching community of New Zealand. He's just sitting there doing some dots, which of course is a drug reference, and I just love the guy's honesty, and he seemed genuinely excited about it all.
Yeah. If people want to watch that clip, that's up on the 3 News website. Thanks so much, Hamish Coleman-Ross.
Thanks very much. See you next week.
So here's Minwee, a track called I Hate You. It's on Kiwi, not too far away.